Leila's world is a colorful contradiction. On one hand, she's full of dreams, sketching fashion designs under the whispering winds of Saint Louis, Senegal's island city. On the other, she battles daily with Maimouna, her stepmother, whose headscarves and stern eyes mirror centuries of tradition. Leila often escapes to her rooftop studio, where the Atlantic breeze carries her visions of Paris runways and bold modern lines. Maimouna sees this as a waste of time, a distraction from marriage and the real duties of a woman. Their arguments are routine. Maimouna criticizes Leila's bold clothes. Leila scoffs at Maimouna's rigid ideas. Yet beneath the surface of their clash lies something deeper: grief. The death of Leila's father 2 years ago left wounds neither woman has addressed. The house is silent with memories, and each refuses to be the first to reach out. One evening, after a particularly cruel remark from Maimouna, Leila storms out and doesn't return until sunrise. That night, something shifts in Maimouna's expression, not anger, but something closer to worry. In her absence, Maimouna opens Leila's sketchbook out of curiosity. Her fingers trace the pages of bold, expressive designs. Her mouth tightens, not in judgment, but recognition. A familiar silhouette, a draped scarf over one shoulder, reminds her of something she left behind decades ago. She quietly returns the sketchbook, but something inside her has been stirred. Leila juggles two lives. By day, she volunteers at a youth center to appease Maimouna's expectations. By night, she sews her designs into being under a borrowed sewing machine at a friend's house. Her first break comes when a visiting fashion blogger, impressed by Leila's Instagram, offers to feature her work. She uses a pseudonym, Leila, to avoid discovery. Meanwhile, Maimouna begins receiving anonymous letters. They contain old photos. Her as a young woman in Paris, dancing in nightclubs, wearing dresses no modest woman would admit to owning. The past she buried threatens to resurface. One photo shows her beside a man she thought she'd never see again. Jean-Luc, her first love, a Parisian musician who once offered her the world. Confused and scared, Maimouna suspects Leila might be digging into her past. Their tension deepens when Leila's secret show is scheduled for the same weekend as the mosque's charity gala, where Maimouna is a guest speaker. A small argument escalates into an explosive fight. Leila accuses Maimouna of never understanding her, of crushing her dreams. Maimouna retorts, "You think dreams feed you? You don't know what it costs to have them." Neither of them speaks of the tears that follow. Days before her secret debut at the Dakar Indie Fashion Show, Leila's name, Leila, trends online. A French magazine shares her designs with a caption, "The spirit of Saint Louis, rising Senegalese designer, revives 1980s Paris flair." Among the collage is a dress inspired by a mysterious vintage photograph Leila found in an old trunk, her only connection to the mother Maimouna never talks about. When Maimouna sees the article, her heart stumbles. That dress, she wore it in 1983 at a Paris fashion ball. Her mind reels. How did Leila get that photo? How much does she know? Maimouna confronts Leila in a trembling voice, holding out the magazine. Leila, surprised but defiant, reveals she found it tucked in her father's things. "Why didn't you ever tell me you lived in Paris? That you were happy?" she asks. Maimouna is silent at first. Then slowly the memories unravel. She tells Leila about her youth in Montmartre, her love of dance, her dreams, and how she gave them up to be a respectable woman. The walls between them begin to crack. Maimouna sees in Leila the same fire she once had. For the first time, she doesn't snuff it out. The morning of Leila's fashion show, Saint Louis wakes to a headline that shakes both women. Daughter of mosque leader debuts in risk fashion show. Stepmother's Paris past revealed. The gossip spreads like wildfire. Photos of Leila's bold runway looks are placed beside old images of a youthful Maimouna dancing in Paris. Her dress thigh-high, her expression free. It's not just scandal, it's betrayal in the eyes of their conservative community. At the mosque, whispers turn to stares. Maimouna is asked to step down from her charity role. Leila is heckled in the market. Their home becomes a target. Eggs thrown at their door, harsh words scrawled on their wall. Leila prepares to leave St. Louis entirely, packing her designs, her heart heavy. But Maimouna, to Leila's astonishment, stops her. "You are not running from this," she says, her voice firm. Let them talk. They did not walk our roads. Maimouna shocks the city by appearing in one of Leila's designs at the next public event, a modest but modern caftan stitched from the same fabric as her infamous Paris dress. She speaks openly about her past, her choices, and how forgiveness begins with telling the truth. Her honesty silences many. Leila watches, her heart swelling with pride and a newfound respect for the woman she thought she knew. Weeks later, a letter arrives addressed to Leila. It's from Jean-Luc, Maimouna's old lover, and a fashion curator in Paris. He saw the article, recognized the dress, and is captivated by Leila's work. He invites her to showcase her collection at a cultural fashion festival honoring African heritage in Paris. Leila hesitates, unsure whether to accept. She knows this opportunity could change everything, but fears reopening wounds, hers and Maimouna's. When she shows Maimouna the letter, she braces for disapproval. Instead, Maimouna smiles gently, her eyes misting. "Go," she says. "My story in Paris ended. Yours is just beginning." Together they prepare Leila's line. Maimouna even helps her select fabrics, choosing ones she used in her own youth. Their days are now filled with quiet laughter and shared meals. Moments neither believed possible months ago. In helping Leila pack, Maimouna slips in a small gift, the original photograph that inspired the Paris dress. Framed and signed, "To my daughter who dared to dream louder than I ever could, Paris dazzles." At the fashion festival, Leila's collection receives a standing ovation. Critics hail her as a bridge between African tradition and global expression. Backstage, a charming French Senegalese photographer named Idris offers to buy her coffee, charmed not just by her designs, but by the fierce sparkle in her eyes. She smiles, surprised at how easy it feels. This new love blooming, not as escape, but as celebration. Back in Saint Louis, Maimouna reclaims her place in the community. This time not as a model of piety, but of honesty and resilience. She starts a small workshop for girls who want to sew, dance, or simply dream beyond their circumstances. On the day Leila returns, both women find themselves at the shoreline where the river meets the sea. The wind is calm, the tide low. Leila hugs her stepmother tightly. "We're not so different after all," she says. Maimouna laughs. "We never were." And as the sun sets over Saint Louis, painting the sky with gold and crimson, the sands of their past no longer separate them. They are woven into a shared story, one of forgiveness, freedom, and love in all its forms.